What's up, people? My name is Jonathan. Welcome to Arranging Things on Mix It Up, Ep.1. So this is going to be a series of programs where I'm going to give you some insights of how I record songs. Sometimes it'll be small segments, maybe just focusing on one thing at a time. But to jump in, to really give you some good head start, I'm going to take a song I wrote, I think it's about a year ago. It's a song which most of the people who listen to it seem to like it for some reason. I don't think it's one of my better songs, but some people do think it's one of my better songs. And it's also not too grungy like most of my other songs. It's a bit more rocky, alternative style. The song is called Wolfskin. So what I'll do is I'll play a bit of the song, probably not the whole thing, because otherwise you can listen to it in the description below. I'll play a little bit of it just to get a flavor. Maybe I'll just cut through a bit. And then I'll just dissect how I kind of wrote the parts, focusing a lot on the guitars, of course, and then just go through the choices I made, what I was trying to do, why I did things what I did. So hope you find it useful. Let's dive straight in. Let's play a bit of the song. Wolfskin is the song. So it has quite a long intro, as you can hear. So I did an intro solo to kind of bring some interest in. Intro goes for about 30 seconds. Then I have a kind of a break part and it goes in the verse. I should have known by the way that you talk. It was too good to be true. So I'm going to jump ahead now to the chorus. That's the verse. This is the chorus. It has an unusual chord change here. And then straight in back into verse. So that's the song. And last part I'll play, it has kind of a different style in the solo. I'll play that part, the beginning of that. So it goes into a like really snare, double time snare with a lot of crash cymbal, just to bring a lot of energy there in the solo. And the outro has kind of a strange chord on the outro. I'll play the outro just very shortly. I can't remember what chord that was I did, but it was kind of a strange chord to end up. So that's a bit of the song. Again, in the description below, I'll leave a link to the song so you can hear the whole thing. I don't need to take up your time with that now. What I'll do is I'll start with the bass. What I try to do in my songs, and I don't always achieve it, I try to have an interesting bass line. I try to come up with a bass line that has its own little melody, doing its own little thing. So I'll play a little bit of the bass, the intro part, the verse, and the chorus. Again, not everything, but just to give you a flavor. So here's the bass in the intro. It's kind of mirroring what the guitars are doing, but it has its own little flavor there. Now I'll play the verse part. It's pretty tame here. It's got some walking parts in there. Now I'll play the part in the chorus. The part in the chorus is exactly the same as the intro, although it sounds different. So it's the exact same part as the intro, but obviously the arrangement, the guitars, and the singing and everything is all different. Then the other part I have is in the solo. There it goes completely wild, different. It has also a little flavor there. Yeah. What I do, how I write, I'm not a bass player at all. I play guitar a little bit, and I used to play drums, and I sing. My strongest instrument is vocals, but I can't play bass at all. And to be honest, I'm a little bit too lazy to learn. What I do is I just play it on the keyboard. I've got a plug-in here that gives me a bass tone. It's called Trillion. And when I get the guitars written, usually I just mess around with the keyboard until I find a rhythm in the bass that or a melody in the bass that works. And again, I'm looking for a bass line that complements the guitars as not just mimicking them. That's what I find the most interesting bass lines are. The ones that kind of play off the guitars, have their own little thing going, but it's their own little thing. So that's the bass. The guitars, what I quite like about this song, what I was able to do, I really love it when I can write two guitar parts that are like completely separate. You could play them completely independently from each other, and they're all completely different, but when you put them together, this interlock. I don't always get that done, but I think I got that quite well done here. The other thing I try to do is use the guitar parts to build tension. So start, like verses usually start kind of at ground zero, and then you step up, and then you build up to the chorus. Sometimes you have a post-chorus, sometimes you have a break or whatever, a bridge. But I'm trying to use the guitar parts to help build that, because obviously guitar parts are distorted, most of them, and they're always at 10. So you have to use, or I try to use, the guitar parts to not just by volume, but just by how they're played, to build some interest and also to build some tension. So let's go in. I'll play you the intro. You probably heard when I played the whole song. This is the guitar one. It's a pretty simple riff. And that's, I was just messing around with the guitar, and that's how I write most of the songs. And I came up with that riff and I said, oh, that sounds cool. But that was not enough. I wanted to build on that. And as I said, the intro is 30 seconds long, which is quite a long intro these days, especially when people are on Spotify looking, and then you got 5-10 seconds to get their interest and they've gone to the next song. So this is the part I found to kind of complement that. So it comes in after the first 4 bars. So I'll play that second part that goes along by itself, and then I'll play the two together. So this is, again, the second guitar part that goes along with the first guitar part. It's like a down, down, and I like bends. Bends always, to me, add interest. They just sound more human. So that was the part, and I wrote that completely independently, and now together, and I think they play off each other quite well. I'll take away the second part. And you can see, I'll do that one more time. Some reason I hit the wrong button here. I had it only on the left speaker. So I'll do that again. I'll play the two parts together, and then I'll take away the second guitar so you can see what it adds. So I'll take away the second guitar now. And I'll add in the first guitar. You see, they play off each other, at least I think. So let's go first now, and I'll play the first guitar part. It's pretty straightforward lick, actually. It's got some kind of what I would call grunge chords in there, actually. It's like not your typical power chord, but some sort of sus type chord in there. So that's pretty straightforward lick. And then I can interlocking part that plays off that. So play the two parts together now. Again, simple, but the two parts together have a lot more interest. Now, I'll keep playing. That's the first part of the verse. Now it goes in the second verse. I want to bring, because I singing goes up in tone, and then I have this part. Again, the volume of the guitars, the level of the guitars is the same, but because it's continuously played and strummed, it's adding a lot more energy. And I think that melody there in the guitar plays quite well also with the lyrics when you hear the lyrics with it. So Now let's play the chorus. And actually, I stand corrected. The chorus is actually exactly the same as the first two parts. I thought it was different, but it's actually not. It's different because probably it's the same. It's just probably the singing adds the difference. So this is the chorus. And it's quite a short chorus because I didn't think it needed too much. And then it goes into this part. And I think that part, again, I can't remember which chord it was there, but you can hear it was like a strange chord. It went to a completely different tonal range in there. And when you hear the lyrics with it, it works perfectly because it takes you like off color. That you hear the chorus and it's quite powerful vocals there and quite loud, strongly sung. And then you get that different tone and it takes you off color. And then you go straight into the verse. So I'm keeping your interest, keeping you on your toes. You know, I didn't expect that. And then back into the verse. So because the verse is so kind of flat, I wanted to strike some interest before I come in. So now, next I'll take you into what I did for the solo. Because I didn't, because the two parts are relatively simple when you look at them, I wanted to bring something different and really put a lot more energy into the song in the solo. So I came up with a part where it's just like pat and pat and pat and pat on the drums. And I wanted to come up with a completely different type of guitar lick there that was really in your face. So let's play that. It's just one guitar part in this case. There's no, the second, unlike the verse and the chorus where it had two parts playing off each other. This is just one part. So I'll play the solo part here. So this is the end of the second verse. That was kind of a bridge, and then just simple punk style chords, and I'll bring in the drums, and then you can hear how it's just quite a lot of energy there. Just really a lot of energy, some fills in there, a lot of crashes. And then I wanted to find a nice way to get from that high energy back into the verse. So let me show you the transition that I used to get from the end of the solo. I'll just play the drums and the guitars right now. So end of the solo. Yeah, and breaks are your friend there, because I think it was a completely different, even type of tone there being used, a different tonality. And I always struggle, or always trying to find a way how to bridge when you go into something completely different type of rhythm, different type of tone art, and you want to bring them back into where you started. Breaks are sometimes good. Breaks also can be against you because it's like you lose the whole energy of the song. But in my opinion, after taking you to 11 on that ride here, going with this huge all the crashes and the snare and this punk style, your interest is up. The solo is also going on behind there, and you're up in the sky, and I've got you there. And so if I give you a break, you're just going to fall down, and then boom, I'll catch you with the verse. So that's kind of the direction I wanted to take you there. So the rest of the song is pretty much, it's a third verse, pretty much similar to the first verse. The only thing different in the song, guitar-wise, is the ending. So I always struggle with endings. I would say that's probably the part I struggle with the most, how to find a good ending. I never seem to get it right, but I quite like this ending, to be honest. So let me play it for you. It's just something different. It's an ending where you'll end suspended. I don't take you down to the ground. I keep you kind of a little bit off the ground. So let's play that. It's actually similar to how I used for the break at the end of the first and second chorus, but I just keep you suspended on that chord there. And I'm not really good at music theory. I don't ask me what chord that is, but I just know it's kind of one of those chords that you're waiting for release, and I don't give it to you. So that's kind of what happens there. So a couple other things production wise, vocals. And probably I'll do a different episode on how I write vocals and how I do it. Vocals, to me, is a very personal thing. I could tell you how I do it, but I think you have to do your own way. But maybe the way I do it, if I share with you, maybe that helps you. Oh, that's a tippy. I didn't think of that, or maybe it's something you can learn. So I will share with you, for what it's worth, how I write vocals. I write vocals lightning fast. The ideas come in my mind, and I just go with it. That's how it works for me. So with no different here. I got the idea, and sometimes I just get like when I have the song, I write the music, the guitars, sometimes no bass, just drums and guitars. And then when I have the chorus down, I'm trying to think for a line, for a hook line, or maybe what is the music telling me? And I got the song is about President of the United States called Donald Trump, and it's called Wolfskin. And that came to me because at the time I was writing a lot of songs in that direction. And just it said a lot to me that he's a wolf in a sheepskin. So, and I wanted to write the words around that. So let me show you what I did here. Is this is really kind of a stripped down vocal song. If you listen to a lot of my other songs, you'll see that it's very much layered, a lot of harmonies. I do a lot of layering of harmonies, but this one is just one single vocal. There's no harmonies whatsoever. But what I do with almost all of my vocals, with the exception of some songs I wrote recently, is I will put doubles, and not just one, but two. And a lot of people, when they make doubles, they will pan them all three. So the main and the two doubles, they'll pan them in the center. I just prefer, and maybe I'm going against the grain, and maybe I'm wrong here. I like to have my doubles panned hard left and hard right. So I have my main vocal down the center. Usually I do vocal takes in sections. I take sections of the song, record, and I'll just go over it and record maybe 5 to 10 takes. And I'll comp it. I'll take the best of the sections. And of course, I'll take the best comp of that section. I'll use as the main vocal, and I'll use the second and third best as my double left and right. So what I'll do is I'll show you here. I'll just and I'll play first the vocal without the double. So this is just the vocal, no double, just going down the center. I should have known by the way that you talk. It was too good to be true. So it's got a bit of delay, quite a lot of reverb. Catwalk, we saw the real you. Smoking mirrors. Now, figure. Let me play that now with the doubles added. I should have known by the way that you talk. It was too good to be true. I'll take away the doubles now. Notice when you hit the catwalk. We saw the real you. It doesn't take the vocals from 5 to 10. It takes them from maybe 8 or 9 to 10. But it takes them over the edge. And in today's music, where there are so many great vocalists that the computers are there, you can do a lot of things to make your vocals sound very impressive, even if you can't sing on key. You really have to stand out, and I try to do these doubles and to make it stand out. Now, I must say, Glenn Fricker is a well-known YouTuber, and he's a very hardcore do-it live, don't do any, use any samples, don't use autotune and all this stuff. I agree with him about 80%. But drums, sorry, I use computer drums. I don't have the time. I can't write 30 plus songs with live drums. I just can't do it. And I think he will get that. But with vocals, I'm fully with him. I will never and have never used autotune. Even if the vocals sound a little bit not perfect, I think that people want to hear that. And I don't think autotune adds anything great to a song where the vocalist is already good. If you listen to isolated vocals from some of the great singers, especially in the 90s, like Lane, and you listen to the isolated vocals, some of those vocal takes, they are off tune. But yet, because they have used doubling, for example, doubling masks a lot of that as well, I must say. If you record a single vocal and then you add two doubles to it, you can get away with being not perfectly in tune, because the chorusing effect of being off tune with two vocals, it sounds better than if it's one vocal off tune. That's personally my opinion. I know you will probably say auto-tune everything to death. Hey, it's a free world. Do what you want to do. Not everybody can sing perfectly on tune. I can't sing perfectly on tune, but I can pretty much, if I do enough takes, I can get a good vocal performance. So I try to just get it right first time. And again, I know not everybody can do that, and I know autotune is there to be used, so use it. But I don't use it. I try to just put the extra work in and get it done right. So let's move on further beyond vocals to the drums. I'm not going to go much into drums. Probably I will do another explain what I do with drums. I'm using Superior Drummer, and I'll play you just a little bit of the drums to let you hear how they sound. What you'll hear is quite roomy. I like roomy drums. I've learned over time that fits my songs best. What I do with my drums, it took me a while to realize you need to slaughter drums. You don't need to go small steps. You really go for the throat with drums. I put a lot of compression on the drums. I do a lot of EQing. I know the way that toms sound in songs is no way it sounds live, but hey, you need to make the song interesting. You need to get rid of 500 hertz. I mean, kill it to death. Boost the shit out of the 4 and 6K where the impact of the tom is, and that's what you need to do. You need to make the songs interesting, and that's what the computer's there for. You don't need to sound like a 1970s kit in a room. You need to sound exciting. The other thing I do is I use a lot of clipping. Clipping is, you got to be careful with it because sometimes you can go overboard. It's amazing what clipping can do, and I'll probably also cover that in the future in some of my episodes about clipping. Clipping is so awesome because what it does, it brings energy in the song into the drums, but yet it reduces the spikes, the peaks, because drums are just like needles. They're popping through and they're killing the limiter, they're killing everything else, they're overpowering everything else. By clipping, you can cut those peaks down, yet the drums sound louder. It's like magic. The other thing I do a lot of is I put a shitload of plugins on my master chain. I go to town with it. Of course, I found a plugin chain that really works for me, and pretty much I use it and tweak it from time to time. But I use a lot of plugins. I'm not shy with that. And I'll go, a lot of the stuff I'll go into a bit more in detail in terms of just techniques I use, in terms of how I route my buses, how I do the mixing bus, how I do the mastering bus, and so on. But anyway, that's about it. I think I'll call it quits right now. But I've got a little surprise for you. This song, Wolf Skin, I'm going to leave in the description below a link to all the stems of this song. And if you're interested, you're most welcome to play around with those tracks yourself, and you can play with them to your heart's content. So I won't take up all your time here. Listen to the stems. Listen, am I crazy? Am I stupid? Is the song good or bad? Whatever. You can make up your own mind so you can hear what I tried to do. The other thing I'll do, another bonus for you, in the description below, the same location where the stems are, I've created a folder where you can download a whole bunch of free plugins. So I use Reaper. Reaper is the program I use. I've seen Cubase and all the other things out there, and I know that's a whole argument by itself, but I am convinced that Reaper is an awesome program for what it costs. It costs about $60. I buy it. The guys deserve the money for what they get. I bought my version. I use that, and what I've done is I've collected a whole bunch of free plugins, and I've put them in a folder for you. And if you download Reaper, and please buy it if you like it. Don't just, you can use it for free for trial, but just buy it. $60. Download the free plugins, and then download the project file that you'll see in the folder. And I've created like a mix that's somewhat close to what I've done here. So you can see exactly how I would mix that song, more or less, here. And you can do that for free. So that's a small gift for you. I hope you find that useful. If free plugins and you have all the fancy plugins, of course, just take the stems and then just mix it the way you want it. But if you're brand new to it and you want to see how someone maybe would mix a song and you don't have any money for plugins, perfect opportunity. So I hope you enjoy that. The inside, of course, the folder will be my mix. And by the way, I'm not perfect. So if you guys listen to the mix and also listen to see the stems, and you think that something could be done better, just tell me. I'm here to learn from you as well. So leave some comments there. Give me some ideas what you would do differently if you think that some of the choices I made, some of the arrangements I've done could be done better. All up to you. Just a few notes on that. The bass, as I said, is a MIDI. So I'm leaving in the package is a MIDI track of the whole drums. Obviously it's not possible to have free, good sounding free drum MIDI program instruments. So what I've done is I've taken from Superior Drummer, I've exported from there the various individual outputs from Superior Drummer, like the kick, the snare, the overheads, the room mics, and so on. So that's what I've done. I've also included the MIDI. So if you do have something like Easy Drummer or Steven Slate drums or Addicted Drums or any other drum program like that, you can just throw that into your program and go from there. So I hope you find that useful. Again, just wanted to share some of my experiences with you, and I'm hoping to learn from you. So please leave comments in the description below. Be honest. If you think I'm full of shit, if you think I played badly, just be honest. We're here we should be open with each other and so on. So that's all I've got here for you today. I hope you found that useful. It was quite a long episode, but in the future episodes, I'll probably keep it a little bit shorter and keep it on specific things. But to start out with, I wanted to give you a kind of an overview of a song and also leave you some stems to play with. So I hope to see you on episode 2. I hope you enjoyed the time today. I enjoyed giving you some insights here, and I look forward to seeing you in the future. Please hit subscribe and be safe out there, guys.